Hey everyone, Chris here from Midwest Coaster Fans. I'm bringing you some important information that came out from Cedar Fair Entertainment. The first thing I want to do is start off on this video is letting Tony Clark, Director of Communications for Cedar Fair, explain and basically go over some things. After he completes each area, I'll be back on here just to talk about each area and what it means and kind of go into more detail from what I've seen on their media release and also from the video. So let's go ahead and hear right now what Tony Clark has to say.
We're excited to welcome you back to our park. Cedar Fair parks have always been a safe and clean place for you and your family to enjoy a day of fun together. These cornerstones are even more important now. By partnering with leading health experts and following CDC guidelines, we've developed important enhancements and put some new processes in place to ensure a healthy and comfortable environment for you and your loved ones. The health and safety of
Hey, I'm back real fast. So as you see, that is Mystic Timbers in the video. They are loading, and as you can see, social distancing is required in the lines, and you'll see that more so as the video goes on. So social distancing is required in the lines. Also, if you look on the roller coaster, Mystic Timbers, every other row is occupied. So it's kind of like what I talked about in the Mind Blower video where every other row is occupied. So it'd be 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, and then maybe the next train would be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So let's get back to the video. I just wanted to let you guys know real fast what that means. That means that social distancing is going to happen on the roller coasters and rides and also in the line queues. So let's get back to the video.
our guests and associates has always been our top priority. So we're excited to share some of the changes that will help us take care of each other the best that we can. We'll make it easy to have some fun together at the park. There are a few things you'll need to do before you arrive. Download our app, make a reservation, complete a health screening, and pack a mask. Before you visit, you'll want to download your park app, which you'll be able to use in a variety of ways throughout the park. We've created an advanced reservation system to help manage our capacity inside the park, so we can ensure that everyone has enough space to successfully maintain social distancing. All guests, including our season pass holders, will need to reserve a specific date and time to visit the park through the app or through our website. And just before your visit, you'll need to complete a pre-visit health screening about 24 hours in advance.
So as you've seen from that video, what's going to happen is you're going to have to download whatever park you're going to be at. For me, obviously, it would be Kings Island or Cedar Point. And then if I decide to go to other parks in the future, because I have a Cedar Fair Platinum Pass, I would have to download that park-specific app. And then I imagine there's going to be a spot on there where you're going to have to enter your season pass details in order to reserve it. Once you download the app and then you choose the date that you want to go, the next thing that's going to happen is that 24 hours prior to you actually going to the park, or you can do it a little bit before that, I believe, they're going to have a health assessment. That health assessment is basically going to ask you general questions to ensure that before you enter the park, you don't have any symptoms of COVID-19. That's what I'm hearing, at least. So you're going to have to have a pass or a daily ticket as it goes on. Obviously, the first 9 days over at Kings Island, which is July 2nd through July 11th, which we'll go over here in a second, the dates that all the parks are opening. We're going to go over that later on in the video. But you're going to have to download the app, make a reservation, and do a health assessment before entering the park. And this is to ensure that everything is safe before you enter the park, and to ensure that Cedar Fair is doing everything that they can in their power to ensure that they're not having anybody into the park that might have any coronavirus or COVID-19 related symptoms. Let's get back to the video.
For everyone's protection, you are required to bring your own mask to the park. Masks are required to be worn where possible, so it's important that everyone in your party have a mask with them. When you arrive at the park, you'll notice we're taking some additional precautions too. All guests and associates are required to wear a mask wherever or whenever possible, especially when it's not as easy to maintain social distancing. We've added signs and guides throughout the park to help remind you to maintain that safe distance in all areas, including queues for rides and attractions.
So that answers the question that everybody else was wondering. Are masks going to be required? And the answer is yes. Not sure on what kind of masks are going to be required. Obviously, this is going to be face covering, so just make sure that you have some sort of face covering or mask on you before you enter the park. We also have been told that if you do not wear your mask, you're probably going to be asked to leave. Obviously, it's going to be due to a bunch of restrictions. I mean, you're entering private property. I know there's going to be arguments on this and whatnot, but just wear your mask and also follow the social distancing standards. That's my opinion. I've been in places where this is required and it's not that bad. And I imagine that Cedar Fair parks, to include Kings Island, Cedar Point, and others, are probably going to have areas where you're going to be able to take off your mask and cool down for a little while. But just in those areas that you're required to social distance and wear your mask, just do it. Let's get back to that video.
We'll also be conducting temperature screenings before you enter the park. You'll pass through a temperature screening tent just prior to the front gate. If any member of your group has a fever or is not feeling well, you'll need to reschedule your visit. We've also worked to limit contact between guests and associates, including using a digital ticket voucher through the app and by adding touchless and cashless transactions where possible.
So Cedar Fair is going to be required to do temperature screenings. This is kind of the thing that's happening everywhere, besides a select few couple parks that aren't doing temperature screenings. But this one looks like a thermal imaging reader, so it's going to thermally read you without them having to handhold a temperature device. And this kind of helps with staffing levels, so they don't have to have a bunch of people holding temperature gauges and putting it to your forehead to determine your temperature. And then obviously if there's a question or if they think that your temperature is above that, I imagine they'll probably take another temperature to double check to make sure it's accurate before deciding on that. And then they're going to go through other measures after that if your temperature is above that required requirement. And then also I found it interesting that they're going to encourage touchless on almost everything. So obviously mobile ordering is going to be encouraged. Also using touchless forms of payment such as Apple Pay, Google Pay, such like that, to pay for your items, or you could just pay probably through the app, which I think is a great idea, and I think this should have been instituted in parks a long time ago. But that is the gist of those two things that you just saw. Let's get back to the video to kind of go over the rest of the things, and then we'll go over a summary, and then I'll go over also the opening dates for all the parks.
To keep the environment as clean as possible, we've enhanced our hygiene and sanitization procedures throughout the park. This includes additional deep cleaning of busy areas and reducing crowded spaces. High traffic areas like the midways, restrooms, dining locations, and rides and attractions will all receive extra attention with sanitization. Because frequent hand washing is your first line of defense against the spread of infection, we've also added additional sanitizing stations throughout the park so you can wash frequently. Restrooms will be staffed to help meter traffic in and out of the facilities, and will be thoroughly cleaned more frequently throughout the day, as well as deep cleaned and sanitized every night. We've also reconfigured our food and beverage and dining locations to accommodate social distancing. We're doing everything we can to create a safe and healthy environment. Remember, we're all in this together, but we need your help. We're ready to have some fun again, and we hope you are too. We'll see you at the park.
The season pass holders dates are so long is because of the new edition of Orion, but we could be wrong on that. But that gives everybody a chance to actually ride Orion that wanted to ride it, and then after those dates is when it's going to be open to everybody. Going over to Cedar Point, July 9th through 10th, park open to 2020 Cedar Point Season Gold and Platinum Pass holders only. Beginning July 11th, park open to Cedar Point Resorts guests and 2020 Cedar Point Season Gold and Platinum Pass holders already announced. Cedar Point's Hotel Breakers and Lighthouse Point RV sites will be open June 12th through 27th prior to Cedar Point's opening. Let's go ahead and go over an overview on everything discussed here on this video. All right, we're just going to go over an overview. So you're going to have a pass holder, so you have to have a gold, platinum, or season pass to those respective parks for those pass holder dates. World of Fun is opening June 22nd. Kings Island is opening up on July 2nd. Cedar Point is opening up on July 9th. Now, July 2nd and July 9th are for pass holders only. So make sure you're paying attention to those respective dates. You're going to make sure that you're going to, after you have a season pass to go to those respective dates, you're going to go online to those apps. You're going to have to download the individual apps because unfortunately it's not a universal app. And you're going to reserve a reservation 24 hours before your reservation is taking place. You're going to have to do a health assessment or health, whatever, screening. And then before you go to the park, make sure that you have your masks. Make sure that you have it. So you're going to have your mask, and then you're going to enter a temperature screening area. The temperature screening area, as long as your temperature is not over 100.4, you're fine. Once that's complete, you're going to go into the park. There's a bunch of contactless payment options, even as little as, scanning your season pass or using a QR code to scan your daily ticket. And once that's complete, I'm not sure if there's going to be any reservations required for the rides. We do know there's going to be social distancing in the ride queues. We know that there's going to be social distancing on the roller coasters and rides as well. We know there's going to be social distancing required in the bathrooms. We know it's going to be required throughout the park. We know it's going to be required in the dining areas. And mobile ordering is going to be encouraged. Contactless payments are going to be encouraged. And all this is going to be set up to encourage social distancing both outside and inside. Not sure yet if they're going to have any areas where you could take off your mask and rest for a little bit. Obviously, if you have health concerns or anything like that, you would want to let the park know the reasons why you cannot wear a mask. And I imagine they will accommodate you because they have to according to guidelines. This has been done in other parks across the country that have opened already. And if you have health concerns, as long as you show us proof of those health problems or concerns, you're not required to wear a mask. Just make sure that if you are in that area of or along the lines of those people that are high risk, just make sure you're taking proper protocol and ensuring that your health and your safety are at utmost means for those parks. So that's a lot of information, I know. I wanted to go over everything for the Cedar Fair parks and what's happening this year. As we know more information, as the new reservation system and everything comes out, we'll be sure to record and show you guys how it all works. We have a special surprise this Friday, so be tuned. Be sure you're tuned in to Midwest Coaster Fans. There's going to be a video breaking on Friday, so make sure you pay attention to Facebook and Instagram, and also here on YouTube. With that being said, this is Chris signing off until next time for Midwest Coaster Fans. Thanks again for watching.